All right, I'm going to do a quick check-in. Today I am going to go ahead and launch I was going to launch launch my slides. And I'm going to do basically a check-in. These are very useful because there's some tools that I have not been taking advantage of. And one of the examples is the universe list. And so, if I were to look back on the weekend so far, because today's, it's just Sunday morning right now, it might seem like I haven't produced a lot. But on Friday night, my daughter was in town. We had dinner and spent quite a bit of time together. I also had a large beer, which may have impacted my sleep a little bit. And so also because of that, yesterday I took an afternoon nap. So the reason I bring all that up is because there's this sort of cascading effect from not being able to really do anything else on Friday. There wasn't anything else I needed to do. And in fact, one of my strategies, sort of in the back part of my head, is, what kind of tasks would keep me from having dinner with my daughter, for example. And the answer to that is really not many. Not many tasks would be an excuse or a reason not to have dinner with my daughter. I'm not going to say, oh, I can't have dinner because I have to mop, right? But if I'm sick, then that's something. And then that's another trick as well, is what can wait? What real damage would occur if I was physically ill and I didn't have any choice at all? What would be the fallout from my illness? And this kind of stuff can go into sort of illness. There's another thing, vacation. Let's use the word Spain. I have a lot of keywords that I use for strategies. They don't always make sense, but there are these three kind of additional sort of perspectives on really identifying the tasks that are going to matter, which things can wait, and so one of those is the thing I mentioned on Friday. It's like I had dinner with my daughter. What kind of thing would warrant me being able to say I really can't do dinner? Now, in some cases, or I should say in almost every case, it's kind of a last minute sort of thing. So if I had previous plans, then she would have to understand. And in fact, I was, up until quite recently, I had a problem with being too busy, and for doing a lot of different social things, but primarily playing guitar and stuff like that. Anyway, but it's just a way of thinking. So ADAM stands for average person, damage, accumulate, and matters or meaningful. And that the average person test is a really, really powerful test for me. I don't know why it is. I don't remember even coming up with the idea. Excuse me. But I remember sharing it, or when I shared it with the internet, several people, at least, it seemed to be a great idea to them. And so the idea is, there's actually a lot of questions, but the idea is what would the average person do, or does the average person do this, or how would the average person do this? What does the average person do that I don't do? What am I doing that the average person doesn't do? And so, for example, I'm doing this right now. I'm talking to the internet, basically. And the average person is probably not doing that. The average person is doing other things. Some of those other things that they're doing are things that I can't do because I'm doing this. If you want to really get zero sum about it. But that's the idea. And so, so you've got this idea of just what is the average person doing now? How does the average person do this? I look at my day and I say, what is it that I'm doing? So for example, I just started the wash. I just put in some laundry, and that's legit. That's a thing that everybody has to do, right? It's not like a project or playing guitar or this, and so I've got that laundry on right now, and that very much meets the average person thing. I also earlier, I don't know what's going on with my allergies. Sorry. Earlier, I was moving money. I moved some money from my checking account at the bank to a money market in the cloud, and that's normal. Some people do that, not everybody. I did it for a reason that might be like OCD, but it was just a push of a button. In fact, I was following another strategy called the middle way. See, these strategies and these reminders make me feel like this is very good for me to talk about all of these things. Then we have illness. So illness is a really good one. If I was sick today and I couldn't do anything, what would the real fallout be? There really wouldn't be much. If I didn't vacuum today, oh my God, what would happen? And it happens. Stuff like that happens. The other one is, I always use the word Spain, but that just means vacation. If I was in Spain for 3 weeks on vacation, would my house still be standing when I returned? And the answer is, of course it would. There are some other things around with regard to Spain and vacation around agency and artificial limitations, like, or if you think about the average person, right? The average person spends, I just heard a statistic, just on summer vacation, the average person spends like somewhere around $3,000. It's a little less. I think it's like $2,800 something on summer vacation. I don't spend any money on summer vacation. I have these ideas of vacation, like, hey, let me go dine out or take chill, or maybe I might, whatever. But I don't like a staycation kind of thing where I just kind of do whatever I want to do. I have days off of work and I just kind of do whatever. But most of the time I'm kind of catching up on stuff. But that's something I don't do that allows me to indulge in any kind of accommodations that I like. The other thing I don't do is I don't take medication. I think I'll put that on here. This is a whole nother thing though. Let me make another, let's insert another slide. Okay. So I don't dine out, but if I need to dine out, I will, but I don't just dine out just because I feel like I deserve it or something like that. All right. Where were we here? This was task types. Okay. So interesting thing today. I realized that I have almost nothing on my phone. So I should mention, let me go back over here to this. Did I have a Gmail? Oh, those are the settings. Okay. So for Gmail, I have in my right now in my inbox. That's interesting. Yeah, I only have two things, and these two things may actually be fairly sort of persistently in my inbox. One's called visible maintenance. And what that means is stuff I can see around the house. I don't even really need anything for or I shouldn't theoretically need anything for visible maintenance, but the fact that I don't give myself permission to do it, I have it as a task. It also says including sweep, like sweeping. And I did start sweeping my half of my living room. And so this is what I call like a soft nudge, maybe is what I'm probably going to call it. You have pushing and pulling. Maybe there's like this thing in the middle called a nudge, where I will see a let me say here, maintenance. I call it visible maintenance. So these are things I can see, and so it is unread in my Gmail inbox, which means I'm planning on doing it today. Also, I can do it today because there's nothing else that I need to do today other than what's on the calendar. So I want to let me explain a little bit about how the calendar interacts with Gmail, because I have changed something very recently. And since this little change with Gmail versus the calendar, I'm starting to tweak it a little more because I'm starting to feel pretty good about it. Um, and so what I'm using my calendar for from a mechanism perspective, which I believe is where we get over here. Wait a minute. When we get over here, we get into like, there's characteristics of tasks. There's types of tasks, like in terms of, whether they're periodic or, how they're, the nature of how they, whether they repeat or not, stuff like that. And then there's the mechanisms. And so now what I'm starting to do is I'm starting to use and think of the calendar as more of a notification scheduler. And I'm able to do that for a number of different reasons. But if I look at my calendar for today, and I look at, there are 3 different colors. There's like a brownish color that is my routine things, but they're not routine necessarily things I have to do, although some of them are, but they're also kind of reminders. One of them is called drink water, which I should be doing right now, and it's on my lock screen. There's one called brushing and flossing my teeth, which, let me back up a second. So drinking water is something I want to do at a specific time, like 8 a.m. is like, I want to start thinking about drinking water, especially since I'm terrible about drinking my coffee. So I've got drink water at 8. I've got brush and floss my teeth at 10, which is like the hour in which I have breakfast. And then I don't have anything else until 8 p.m. And all that is basically turning my air conditioning down so that I can sleep better because my bedroom is on the 2nd floor. So I need to crank the air conditioner a little bit at night. Those are my 3. Those are my only routine items in calendar. Whereas I do have many things that I do every day, and that's where this SWEAM comes in, which is sleep, work, exercise, or sleep, work, eat, exercise, and meditate. Those 5 things I do every day. And I do them roughly around the same time. Exercise, dinner, the dinner part of eating, and then exercise and meditate are like kind of comprise my evenings. Although there is more time than it takes to do those 3 things. But there's also occasionally evenings where I have to do other things. So anyway, so I don't have, sleep, work, eat, exercise, or meditate. I don't have any of those in my calendar because I'm just relying a little bit more on myself. I just don't need them to be popping up all the time. I just don't want that to be, I want to kind of get into the habit of, okay, what time is it? It's, it's 8:35. Okay. It's not 10. I'm fine. If eating becomes a problem, then I'll put it back on my calendar and have myself a nudge to remember to eat, just like my drinking water. Okay, so now I've got a couple of blue items, and these blue items are more like strategy kind of reminders. They're not things I need to do, but they're associated with things I need to do. So the first one is don't forget headphones and water. And this occurs at 4 p.m., which is when I usually go to the gym or I eat dinner, depending on whether I'm hungry or not. But I have forgotten my headphones, and it's brutal. It is absolutely brutal listening to the shit that they're playing in the gym. It's just horrible. And they turn it way up, and there's just absolute disregard for whether people like that shit or not. So it's a critical thing, and it is a problem. So I need to remember it. Hopefully, if I get really into the groove of it, I'm also I'm spending more time in the gym too, and I'm doing more lifting and heavier lifting and stuff like that. So I need more water. And if I'm only going up to do the elliptical, maybe I don't need water and stuff. But I'm trying to get back in the habit of just like water, obviously tennis shoes. My clothes and my shoes are like givens, but I need to get my headphones and water to be just part of going to the gym every time. Even if I don't need water, I'm just going to do it every time until it becomes a habit. Okay. There's another thing that happens at 4. It says, this is a question. It says, is meditating in my rocking chair hurting my wrist? I've started upping my meditation as well. So I'm going from 15 to 30 minutes of meditation. And I started noticing like a twinge in my wrist. And there is like a slight discomfort about doing that. And so this is just a reminder that maybe I don't even want to do the meditation in that chair. And then I have another one, which is information as well, but it's about the gym also. And it's about doing legs and core today. And that's a new thing. And it's just a reminder. It's like, just a reminder. And it also is kind of like, I used to record what I did when I get into structured stuff in the gym. I would do something like, I'd kind of record that I did legs and core on, let's say, Thursday, right? But instead, what I'm doing is I'm thinking ahead, and I'm always using another technique that I have that's called what's next. And what I really need to do is I really need to be reminded on the day that I do need to do legs and core, even if it's like the normal day would be Sunday, but I'm reminding myself, it's almost like I'm saying, yes, I can do my legs and core. But if I was late, if I didn't do my legs and core until Friday, I definitely wouldn't want to do them again, on Sunday or something like that. But the real goal is to start getting into a groove where it's like Wednesday and Saturday are upper body, Thursday and Sunday are kind of lower legs and lower body and core, and then just get rid of all those questions. And a huge advantage that I have is that I'm not 22 minutes. We're doing pretty well so far. A huge advantage that I have is that I don't have any commitments. Like I am solo. Like I'm not doing any social stuff. I did play guitar this weekend that I could talk about, but it's like I have almost entire control over my time, even when I'm working, because I work at home. And so I'm trying to exploit that, right? That freedom, that agency that I have. And one way I can do it is like just owning every evening. Now, Friday, my daughter's in town. That's not going to be very often. Wasn't a big deal. Took the day off. Yesterday, I took the day off also, but it was fortunate kind of in a way because like I did my first leg day in a while and I was hurting. So we're going to get back to legs later in the week, I think, and I'll be doing some stuff with my legs, just with doing elliptical and cardio and other stuff, rowing and stuff like that. But anyway, that's the blue stuff. Now the pink stuff is the stuff that is added today. And I chose that. Well, it doesn't matter. There's all kinds of things that go behind this, but the pink stuff is, if I go to, I should say hide, and let's go to the default calendar, done. And then let me do this. Okay. So now if I look at the pink items, I've got 5 items. I've got changing sheets. Also, I'm doing a load of laundry, and it's not even the sheets. I'm actually running a load of clothes basically right now. But when the wash cycle's over, I put those in the dryer. I'm going to go ahead and put the sheets in, and I'm just going to babysit that, or not babysit it, but basically, I'm kind of grounded at home while I'm running these cycles, or at least don't want to be away too long when I've got clothes. I don't care about the sheets getting, wrinkled or anything. I don't care about that. So anyway, that's the changing of the sheets. I have an alarm set that's going to go off at 8:46, which is in 5 minutes, to check the laundry. And then I'm going to move them, and then I'll do this, what I just said, right? And my washing machine doesn't have any kind of buzzer or anything at all. So I have to set the an alarm on my phone or some kind of timer. I always set alarms so they can have labels so I know what's exactly is going on. And I'm going to do that. I can do that while I'm live. I don't care. Although we're going to be getting pretty close to the 30-minute mark. And then, see, I'm going to clean up an alarm from yesterday about opening the dishwasher after running it to let everything dry out, so I'm not using the heating element. Silent mode is an alarm that I set when I meditate. So instead of setting a 30-minute timer, I set an alarm for 30 minutes from now that I call silent mode, because I put my phone into silent mode, but I want to remember to turn it back, that silent mode, off when I'm done. And what else do we have? So if I go back to, so I've got change sheets. I've got make sure the agitator is working. So I had to get my washer worked on, and the guy said it was working, and it sounds like it's working. I'll probably check that again also. Then I have just this washer is running. So when it's kind of like just a reminder so I don't space out and like leave the apartment, because I want to be spontaneous, and I am a very spontaneous person. So it's sort of like I have what I call carte blanche today. And carte blanche is that there's nothing that has to be done today. There's absolutely nothing that's going to result in damage if I don't do it today. According to this Adam principle. However, today is a good day to like be doing laundry and doing some of these things, because I'm not going to do them during the week because I really, really need to focus on my work. I got some crazy shit going on at work. Cool, but really super challenging stuff that's going to take a lot of talk. Okay, but so I have this I just have this reminder that the washer's running. So on my lock screen, it just says washer's running, just a reminder. And then I've got chicken expires today. So, and I have that set for 10 o'clock because I can't do anything about it until 10 o'clock because the meat department doesn't open at my grocery until 10 o'clock. So that'll pop up on my phone at 10 as a reminder, just saying, hey, your chicken's expiring today. And I'll probably go ahead to the grocery, and I may, I'll probably do this no matter what, just because sometimes I need to babysit the chicken, but I need to get my clothes out of the dryer and stuff like that. But it's usually not a big problem if they wait, because there's a wrinkle prevent portion of the cycle that is fine. So I will probably at 10 o'clock go to the grocery. Well, I'll probably eat breakfast, then make my way to the grocery. And then I'll probably immediately cook the chicken, just because the clock will have started on bringing the chicken up to room temperature. Normally, it's like that's like a kind of a big span. So I sometimes prefer just to buy the chicken, put it in the refrigerator, and then kind of as a separate matter, set it out and cook it, because it's almost nothing if I'm already working or something like that. But again, I don't want to be cooking or doing anything really when I'm working. Now, here's a cool story or a cool point. Now, this is my alarm going off to check the laundry. I'm going to snooze it just briefly. Here's a cool thing about that I found out about cooking chicken is that I tested the process maximally. I said, what if I had a luxurious dinner and this is the way it had. Let me just back up a second. What if I did all of these things? Could I do all these things in one night? Okay. Luxurious dinner, meaning cooking and not rushing and watching TV as I eat and all that. Luxurious dinner, meditating, exercise, and cooking chicken. And I proved that I could do it. And this is what was really fucking cool, like with the clarity of the current moment. And it was, what happened was I was able, okay, we're at 30 minutes, so I'm going to wrap up. Let me just wrap up with this point, and then let me finish. I'll wrap up this point, and then I'll finish just what is on my list for today. So what happened was the order just happened to be that I was hungry. Okay, so I'm hungry now. I want to have a luxurious dinner, right? But that means that I need to digest my food. I don't have a big dinner and then go straight to the gym, right? So that means that I'm going to need something to do in between this luxurious dinner that took a while, and then the gym, which is also going to take a while. But in this big chasm in the middle, what can I do? And I decided that I was going to cook chicken, including, I did not even set the chicken out. I just had dinner, and only then did I set the chicken out. Now, what I was able to do was I was able to meditate while that chicken was setting out. Then I preheated the oven and prepped the chicken. And I didn't meditate during that part. But then the cooking was 20 minutes and roughly 20 minutes, but sometimes I have to go a little bit longer based on the temp. But that was 20 minutes of meditation. And then the whole process of making sure it's all done and everything. And then it rests for 15 minutes, which I also use that to meditate. So you've got 55 minutes. I got 55 minutes of meditating in just by meditating while the chicken's cooking instead of watching television or something. So it's like I am capable of quite a bit. And I'm only committed right now to doing 30 minutes of meditation, but I'm really wanting to spend more time meditating. And that's why this is kind of taking away from that. Okay, so that's that. So my point is that now I know that I can get quite a bit of stuff done. And if I think about just subtracting the 55 minutes of meditation, or let's say that I think it takes around an hour and 15 minutes from the time I set out the chicken to the time I can put the chicken away. So I'm sort of grounded for that hour and 15 minutes. And I have in between there, I've got this 55 minutes. Now I've got 30 minutes of meditating that I want. So it's a little different, but it's more total meditation time. And so I'm not worried about that piece. But on a day that I'm not cooking chicken, it means that I've got, this ability. I have at least this hour and 15, and if you subtract the meditating, that gives me, 45 minutes or something? Did I get that right? 15 hour and 15. Yeah. Would be 45 minutes of at least 45-minute block. And that's also with me doing the proper bedtime routine, brushing and flossing my teeth, having a little bit of TV time, settling down, and then going to bed. And then the other thing that I have on my calendar for today at 11 o'clock, and it's at 11 o'clock because I can't do it until 11 o'clock. I've got 2 restaurants I need to call about being overcharged. And it's like a pain in the ass, but these assholes overcharge me. I'm never going to go to their establishments again, or if I ever do, it's going to be cash. But I got to call them and say, look, I think there's a mistake here. Can you check my receipt? Because you overcharged me. And that's just on here, and that's it. And now real quick, let me talk about Gmail. So the things that remain in Gmail are the things that, let me just go till this snooze. I got 4 minutes to snooze. So I've only got 2 things in Gmail, and I've got them in Gmail because they don't really need to happen at any particular time. I just kind of want to pick them off if I can. And I don't want to get into the structuring of my day too much. I want to just do things around things. So like right now, I'm streaming this because I've got some idle time while my while the wash is going, and then I'm going to put more wash in. And so I'm going to be kind of grounded at home, and I'm going to have this downtime. And during this downtime, I'm going to be able to do things. And one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to sneak up to the grocery store, I think, and get into all that cooking. But the other thing I can do is I can meditate, although I pretty much do that in the evenings. So I've got this visible maintenance, including sweeping. So I started sweeping my living room, and I might finish that process. It's not going to be a perfect sweep. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to. I want to mop it because I haven't mopped it in a while, and mopping also kind of really makes sure I get it very super clean. But I've got that, and I've got this thing called visible maintenance. And visible maintenance is anything I can see. I might have mentioned it in the beginning of the video. So it's like anything I can see, and in this case, it's like the kitchen's kind of number one. And then I know in my head, I know that the bathrooms need attention. And then I also have this, sweeping and mopping my living room because it's hardwood floors, and it's really the whole first floor that just needs to be done. But I'm starting to do it in chunks. So I did it in, just whenever I have idle time, I can just do this part, half of this, half of that, as long as I'm not needing to use the space because the floors need to dry and stuff like that. And yesterday I was very flexible yesterday because I knew that I wanted to mop the floor, but then I knew I needed to have lunch. And then I was like, oh, well, screw it. Maybe I should go out for lunch. And then I thought, no, don't let your brain tell you that. Like, let me just have lunch, and then I'll just move the stuff back again. The issue with lunch was I needed to just slide my coffee table over a few inches because I eat off of it. So it's just kind of catching yourself and saying, look, let's do these little pieces. Let's do them mindfully, not under duress, not in any kind of structured or any specific time. Okay. And then visible maintenance is also kind of, like I said, I sort of know that my bathroom needs attention, but it's out of sight, out of mind, because it's upstairs. And whenever I go upstairs, I don't go upstairs normally, but when I do go upstairs, it's because I've got to do something. It's either I'm going to bed, I'm taking a shower, or I've got to use the restroom or something like that. So it's just never a good time. So I just went ahead and put on here as a red task. So it's not going to show up in the badge. It's secondary to the other visible maintenance, like the kitchen. I might want to unload the dishwasher, even though I don't have to do that. But I like to do it because then it helps me to keep the kitchen's sink clean and stuff like that, empty. And then, of course, I consider the floors in here to be a visible thing. All right, I'm going to go ahead and stop this, and I'm going to stop the stream, and I'll see you in the next one.